Hello Internet, Crystal back again today, and we're talking about something that was the bane of my existence in high school, dress code. So, school dress code. It's kind of something that's a pretty highly debated and talked about topic right now. I think everyone has their own 2 cents about it. I think basically everyone is affected by dress code, every young person, I mean, to some extent, whether you're in a private school or a public school, whether you have a uniform or you just have like rules on what you are and are not supposed to wear. It's just kind of a problem all around. I think that in general, dress codes are always kind of geared more towards girls and what they are and are not supposed to wear. And that's really hard as a young woman growing up and being told like to be ashamed of your body, but not even like to be ashamed of your body, but to be told that like basically, as far as I see it, and a lot of this video is going to be my perspective, my own experiences, and my own opinions. But as far as I'm concerned, when you're a girl growing up with dress code and you're told what you are and are not supposed to wear, based mostly on what creates a good classroom environment and what doesn't distract the boys, it really teaches you that like on a very fundamental level that your education is worth less than theirs. And I think that makes it really hard to learn when like all of your teachers are telling you, not exclusively telling you, like obviously no one ever walked up to me and said like I value your education less than I value his education, but still like when you go to school and you're constantly in trouble for what you're wearing, or you're constantly scrutinized because of your fashion choices or whatever, like that's really hard. And it's like, it's not something that you want to worry about. And when it's hot outside, maybe you want to wear shorts. And I have a lot of opinions about this, but I just don't necessarily believe that like it is girls' fault that like the fashion industry, like have you tried to buy a pair of shorts as a teen girl? They do not make shorts that are not like the shortest shorts. I have tried because I personally am self-conscious about my thighs, and I would personally like to cover those up when I wear shorts. But I can't find shorts that do that aren't like absolutely hideous. And that's like, I mean, obviously that's one example. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of like testimonial from me, my high school experience with dress code. Not necessarily middle school. I don't really remember middle school that much, but I personally was in trouble for dress code all the time. Like it was ridiculous. And I can tell you how utterly mortifying it is to be called out for what you're wearing as a distraction. It's the worst feeling in the world. You feel like you are just like the biggest tramp that has ever walked through the school's door. You feel like everyone has been like gawking at your body this whole time, which I can tell you, as a teenage girl, I don't think that people want people to be gawking at their bodies while they're at school. They want to be learning, or they want to be hanging out with their friends, or whatever they're doing. And I can guarantee you that lots of girls are self-conscious about their bodies, and to a certain extent, everyone kind of wants to be unseen. And for someone to then tell you, I see you and I think that what you're wearing is inappropriate and I'm not going to tell you about that and you're going to have to change, it is so mortifying. I remember one time, I was in my French class. I was like a sophomore in high school. And actually, I still have the shirt I was wearing. Just like, I'm going to go put on the shirt that I, just wait, just a second. Wait. Alright guys, so just to set the mood for you guys a little bit, this is a shirt that I was wearing when the story that I'm about to tell you happened. So, just so you can see what was so, I mean, obviously distracting about my outfit. Well, I understand, like, it is pretty sparkly and that can be distracting, but I think that, like, by the time you're a sophomore in high school, maybe, like, the whole shiny objects distraction, like, becomes a little invalid. I feel like you should be able to control yourself a little bit, but whatever. It wasn't the sparkles they had an issue with anyway. So I'm sitting in my French class, and my French teacher's talking, we're all learning French, whatever, having a great time, and the principal of the entire school, which like it wasn't a big school, but still, the principal walks in, and he's like, Miss Chase, I need to talk with you for a second. So like obviously like my French teacher stops talking to like see what's going on, which then all, 20 something other kids in the class turn and look at me because he said my name and he wants to talk to me, and oh, it's the principal, what's gonna happen? Ugh. So like That's pretty freaking distracting, I think. I think it's more distracting than like my shoulder, which by the way, like that was the issue, was my shoulder. Anyway, so we're in the middle of class and the principal's like, Crystal, a teacher has informed me that you have broken our dress code policy. I'm gonna need you to come with me up to the office so we can get you a sweater. And I was like, first off, I'm so embarrassed. I literally, my face is just beet red. My eyes are starting to tear up because I'm mortified. Everyone in my French class is now staring at me, including the teacher. I feel completely objectified. I feel so embarrassed, like beyond belief, that, because I mean, I was a good kid. Like, I had never been in trouble. I had never been sent to the principal's office, and like now I'm going to the principal's office for my shirt, and I was so embarrassed. And I then decided to contest it, because our school's policy was, I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, you had to have 3 finger width of straps, and this is 3 fingers. So as far as I was concerned, when I put on the shirt that morning, I wasn't breaking dress code. And he's like, well, it's the racer back that's a problem. And so I'm not going to turn around for you guys, but basically in the back of this shirt, there's the straps crisscross like that. And that was the issue, which like I don't understand at all. To be honest, to be perfectly frank, I feel like when you have cloth going diagonally across your back rather than vertically, I feel like this covers up more skin than this does, but whatever. Either way, it was my shoulder blades. And anyway, so he's in my class and he's telling me to come to the office, and because it's distracting. My outfit is distracting. It's creating an unprofessional classroom environment, whatever. And then this kid, Jamie Severson. Shout out to you, Jamie, if you're watching. So Jamie stands up for me and he's like, don't you think it's a little more distracting for you to come into our classroom and tell her to go take that shirt off so that we can all learn? Like, I didn't notice her shoulders. Like, I thought it was no big deal, and like, we're just trying to learn here, and instead you're here interrupting our class, and that's what's distracting us. And like, oh my god, that made me feel so much better. I just want to let you guys know that like, if anyone is ever like getting in trouble for dress code when they obviously shouldn't be, like, obviously I don't want to encourage you guys to like be bad or whatever, but it really meant a lot to me that day that Jamie stood up for me. And I still, obviously 4 years later, something like that. No, I think maybe it's only been 3. It's been a long time. My memory's bad. I still remember it, and it's still important to me, and and he was exactly right. It is so much more distracting for an educator to single out a girl or a kid at all for what they're wearing than what they're wearing themselves. And I just think that it's really wrong for I understand the point of a dress code. Obviously people can't just be like showing up to school naked. However, creating a dress code strictly for the purpose of not creating a distracting environment for the boys is misogynistic to its very core. It's disgusting. It's humiliating for girls. It creates, and like, if you want to talk about an unhealthy classroom environment, let's talk about the fact that you're literally, like, girls are going to school and they're like afraid that what they're wearing is going to get them in trouble, and they can't learn because teachers are calling them out in class. Like, hey, you look like a whore. Like, okay, great, thanks. That is an unhealthy classroom environment. And it's completely unfair. It's ridiculous. And they don't have the same thing for boys in schools. And yes, that's because boys don't really wear revealing clothing because that's not what's in style right now. But at the same time, like, it's just so backwards. I can't wrap my mind around it. Why it would be important to put someone down in that way. And I don't know, relating back to my story, like, whatever teacher thought that I was dressed inappropriately literally would not even face me and say it to my face. Like, and I'm sure she maybe saw me, she or he saw me in the hallway and wanted to say something but didn't. Maybe they didn't know my name. Maybe they saw me at lunch. Either way, I just feel like if that teacher had come to me in that moment while I wasn't in class and said, like, hey, I think you're breaking dress code. Do you have a sweater? If not, I think the office can provide one for you. I would still disagree. I would still find it inappropriate. However, it would have been much less humiliating than having the principal come into my French class and be like, well, Crystal, can't wear that, sorry. I guess, and the last thing I want to say about this, and I have a lot more, but I think this video might be running a little long. The last thing I want to say is that I'll log on to Facebook, and like 17 magazine or whatever will post something, and it's like, student body president got sent to the principal's office for wearing what? And then you like click on the article, and it's like, has like this list of credentials for this girl, and like why she's like the best person ever, and why like all the clubs that she's involved in, how her GPA is like off the charts, she's just an all-around like great wholesome all-American girl. And then it's like, oh, and like this is what she got sent to the principal's office for wearing, and then she's wearing like a sweater and a long skirt, and it's like, man, your ankles were showing, whatever. And it's this like outrage over the dress code, and like everyone's upset about it, which I agree, like you should be upset, especially if she's not wearing anything revealing, even if she was, whatever. I think people should be upset over that. However, it bothers me that it matters that she's the student body president. I don't care if you're, the valedictorian, or you're just about to drop out. I don't care if you're a virgin, or if you're like, 8-time blowjob champion of this side of the Mississippi. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. You do not deserve to be objectified by your educators and to be scrutinized for what you're wearing, regardless of who you are, or what your history is, or what your choices are, or what your sexuality is. None of that should matter. Everyone's education is important, and everyone should be able to wear what they want and not be told that they're bad for it. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say about that. But make sure to tune in again next week. I think we're going to have a video. We're going to go around our campus, University of Montana campus, and ask people what they think it means to be a woman. So tune back in to the Montana Hyman, and I'll see you next week.